Well, listen, hey, I wasn't so sure if I'm clear or not whenever I made that story yesterday up about the Virgin Mary. You know, it's almost like I have to go through the whole spiel to let you know about your left mind, and right mind being together on this in order to understand that story. Because, as I tell you, that most of the time I keep repeating myself because it sounds like all you keep saying is the right brain and the left brain talking together and having to be connected by this Jesus. Well, the story, the Bible may be this big, this thick, but what didn't make it into the Bible could have made it, a giant. Could have been just as big as there was hundreds of books that didn't make it, and all those books wound up being burnt if they found them, and if they found people using them, they killed them. All right, that's the mentality that you're going to have to learn how this thing was, how religion was even brought on people. But it's funny because I just got off of line talking with someone about the story of Job. And Job is where he was telling me that it was real. So some of these stories are obviously, made up, but some are real. There's just so much in them. And I said, well, basically, if it starts off with the devil and God are talking together and having a good time, that right off the bat tells you that it's not real. All right? I mean, if you're really a believer in the devil and stuff like that, maybe you'd say it was real. I used to say it was real, all right? But the idea is that that's how you know right off the bat it's not. This is a battle. There's actually a couple of things inside that story of Job, where we'll get him to lose his love for God. But what you don't understand is that he already started off. They don't tell you this, all right? Because of the Bible, they just don't really tell you. He already had an established connection with the Lord. And that means that he had already built his house on stone. It means he already was practicing tossing his net over to the right side of the boat. All right, so what you have here is a guy who is actively connected to the Lord, the way that I'm teaching you and the way Jesus would teach you if they allowed you. But I don't want to, throw my story off. The idea is when something would be thrown at you by the lower conscious, and that's what this was. The Lord, let the devil have his way with this. Go ahead, take away from him. Take this away from him. Murder his stock. Do all this. And let's see what happens. Well, you see, that's the strength that you have if you can make this connection and bring your carnal mind under divine control. The devil won't have anything to say. It can't. I mean, try it may, but it shows that he couldn't do anything with them. But that's where we're minus that. You'd like to be like Job. Wouldn't you like to be like Job? Wouldn't you like to stand fast through hell and high water and still come out loving the Lord and not cussing him like most of us would do in those situations? Well, if we had the teachings of our elders where we had built the bridge or knocked down that wall between us and this higher place, we could take the heat too. That's the whole point, This whole thing they're all about you coming in and connecting them together, But when we give our crown away to someone else, like religion or to society, for whatever reason, because our society is actually based on this crap, then next thing you're hating women and this and that. Not hating women, you're blaming them for everything. Or hating is a situation you don't have. You can be passive. Just hey, you get paid less. Well, that's because you do less. That's awful. That is hardly a higher conscious idea. All right. So, you should be able to tell yourself that even when your mind comes in and says, well, let's do this, a lot of times that left side wins out. It does. It just does. It happens. I try to hold on to what I got, and then, without me knowing, damn, it's gone. Shit, And then whenever I try to get rid of what I have, it just keeps knocking and knocking and knocking, just like the stories. It doesn't want to go. So anyways, the idea, that I forgot to say yesterday that there is no Virgin Mother. There's in all beliefs of it, the only way that she could have gotten it is through like some artificial insemination, and I told you that that's one of the tangents that these stories take off in, with these astronaut theorists and stuff like that. But no, it's not. It's a story. That she's not real either, and believe it or not, Jesus isn't real either. He could be. He is us. He's representing you and me. And as long as you think that he's real, then you don't have any belief or faith in yourself to do the things that he says you can do, or you won't have the knowledge. And see, there is some truth to myths. There is some truth to it. The idea is, once you cut away the skin part of it, the Word made flesh, once you took care of that, cut that out, you'll find that it's really just personified energies and how it works inside of us. And, I may not have all the right words to call it science or something like that, but it's totally about how our mind changes frequencies from this beta, which is where we are now, to, to a controlled, raising of the mind through frequency. And then later on being purged and healed in some way by accessing this particular spot in our body. There's no war or hell that breaks out from this, other than like if you ever watched that show with Indiana Jones, and they opened up the what is that, the mercy seat, right, the tabernacle, and all of this like invisible spooks come out and fly around, and anyone who's looking at them and anyone who's direct contact or evil is melted. That's another personification of what happens when delta energy or delta frequency is released on the body. It's like a switch that opens up and it just goes through cleaning out viruses and things that are bad programming. And these are kingdoms that that you have built up inside of you that are causing the troubles in your life. And one of those troubles could be that you just believe in religion, and because of that, you become this, you think that you're the most loving and you're the chosen one and everything, yet you hate fags and and you treat women terrible because God says you can. God given right to beat children and things like that. Spare the rod, spoil the child. You don't know shit about dark sayings and nothing. You just take the word and run with it. And call yourself highfalutin because of it. Well, fuck. Look what I get, because I can teach this and because I can tell you the truth about things. I say, she's just trying to build up this ego. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, anyways, I might have. I may have the ego to do it, because I'm kind of popular, I was the president of my class. I had all these things. I'm in a place to tell people. I'm in a place to issue an idea. I'm in a place to teach something. I'm in a position to give my opinion. And maybe it does. Maybe it takes a little bit of gonads, to do that and all. But the personal gain, what do I get from it? A possible beautiful world out of it. Not about my monetary, but if I could teach a bunch of people how to bring the light out of them, and they were all my neighbors, what a beautiful place. What a beautiful place. What a beautiful place. But anyways, there is some truth to these myths. And I want to get one other one before I get too long here. There is this idea of this, where we've been for the last couple of 1,000 years that we know of, but even as this age progressed before this time, before we knew it, it's all been falling downhill. That's basically the direction of the vibration. It seems like a Right now, it's all holes bar. The sky's the limit for the devil to have a great time. It's just that it's the end of this winter season of the larger scale of things in a giant cycle, and it's called the great year. So it's like in order to get rid of this Satan stuff, we have to get rid of what causes it, right? And in cosmology, the way it works is that what had happened some time ago, whenever there was the cosmology goes like this: is that the Earth, which is Gaia, her husband, which is Uranus, had a child, and that child is Saturn. Okay? Saturn takes a sickle and castrates his father. Alright? And a lot of images come into my mind when I see this, and they're not like so dirty or anything like that. The idea of like that prism, from the dark side of the moon, whereas there's this one white light's coming into the prison, and then there's this, the piece of glass or the crystal, and it splits everything up from that point on. It's like there's an arbiter, there's something between us and this main thing, the direct love. So, if you ever to think about that mystically, then what you have is Saturn, through Saturn being, the main boss over this particular part of the age that he rules, and so that's why you've got all this Saturn worship, and because he's an in-betweener. It's like the moon comes between us and the main thing. It's a reflection. It's all about emotions. So when you see that's why everyone's always up in the air, and there's always war or rumors of war. There's always something to upset the balance of things, and it seems like it's tipped over onto the ornery side of things, a little on the and they're freaking out all these people who are on the other side. Oh, but they think they are on the other side. They're not. They're really a part of it, until they can do what I do and what you do and what we practice and what we're taught, till you can put both of yourselves together, through your mind, till you can be one. Then you're always going to be this monster, no matter how pretty you are. It says that, you can still, be a beautiful person, but you have spotted sheep and spotted thoughts. Everything is still spotted, because anything that comes out of the left is still going to be spotted if it doesn't have any divine intervention in it at all, And that divine just means that it's hooked up, and that you maintain this hook. And like Job, you can be thrown at all kinds of shit and you'll be okay. He still went through crap, but remember, he's just a story. You are Job, We are the main characters of these stories, all right? So, if God and the devil, we talk to him like that, if the divine and the devil were to do something to us today, we would totally fall apart, and you can see everyone, they're praying, come on, kill me, come kill me, Jesus, destroy everything, that's what they're up against. These wimpy motherfuckers. That's why they're, worthless goddamn sinners. That's the way it goes. But anyhow, I digress. The truth behind all of this is that now, even our Bible tells us that at the end of the age, which that word was manipulated to serve the fear of it all. Call it the end of the world. Some of these places are saying, but they did that on purpose. They're misguided, so that it could, fit things in. Even homosexual. The word homosexual was not really the word that they used during that time. It was something that was added. In fact, I teach people. I said, that before the onset of religion, gay people married and adopted children, were viable members of the community, all of that, until religion set in, and then It took about 200 or 300 years of them continuing to marry and stuff like that in the church before they made a crackdown on these people. You know, on people that are gay. All right. And it's funny because in our Bibles, the eunuch is mentioned. It's in Matthew something 16. But anyways, it's a natural eunuch. So, you know, we've been around for a long time. But we're not told anything. We're told, you're an abomination. God hates you. You know, you're not even natural. You know, it's your decision to do this. Oh, you know, well, damn. I didn't decide this. Why would I want to come into such a situation where it's so hard and so mean on people, and they're mean to you, and you catch diseases and die like that, boom. So, you know, it would make me think I would do something different, you know, but I didn't. I can't, you know. I can't. You know, if you don't let what's inside of you out, then what's inside of you will destroy you, all right? That's another one of these little wisdom things, that this is how you be yourself somehow. Come out and enjoy your life, you know. And you find this by being inside of you. But what I'm trying to get at, and I'm sorry I keep going off the tangent, but, you know, in the Bible it says that, you know, you enter into a house, into, you know, to a town, and the guy will be carrying a pitcher of water. He says to go into his house, you know. This is where I'm going to sup with you. This is about the Last Supper, you know. And there's like upstairs. It's everyone trying to get upstairs, you know. What it means is that right now, Uranus is coming back. Uranus is going to reclaim his bridegroom. And somehow or another, the penis gets all sewed back on again and stuff like that, you know. And Saturn is pushed to the side, but Saturn is not going to go without fire. I'm telling you, because just like this is our analogies of our mind. Right now, if you're trying to shut down your mind, you got this Sodom and Gomorrah business where they're not going to, won't let you go. Now think about that, and magnify that by the entire world. And all of these little hell in everyone has to be siphoned out of them, has to disappear. And they have to gain the direct connection. That's the whole idea. That's what it is. All these stories tell the same. So we're going into better times. And so, you know, all of us have to witness this. Is we're here because we want to witness this. So instead of dying and being killed off at the first battle, then you go in there and you figure out how to get that stone put in, because they said that there'll be a time when people will want to die, and that's what we call this. We call it dying, you know, taking your five wounds, you know, hanging on a limb. But anyways, they said there'll be a time when people will want to die, and they won't be able to, whether it's because you're polluted, you know, you're drinking things, or you've been taught so much of your mind, you know, religion, you were just so, I'm this and I'm not going to be anything else, you know, this, you know, good luck, you know, but it's supposedly better for us now. It's easier. This direct connection is every day, every hour. It's this thing spinning backward. This Uranus it's going to change everything, you know. But at the same time, hell is not going to want to go to. It's not going to say bye, you know. No, it's not. But this is also where, if you remember the stories about a condor and an eagle, they used to fly together. You know, something happened to where they split up. That's where it is like this, that something happened. They're no longer together. They're split. They're on their own. The divine intervention can't have anything to do with it. There's no direct line. So if you could imagine, they said that one day the condor and the eagle will fly together again. That's a prophecy. And I'm already doing it. I've got my condor and my eagle flying. All right. We just need more of them to effect change on this earth. You know. So, anyways, Satan has it. That's why it's all about Satan. All right? It's the lower mind. It's not a devil of some kind, although who knows what we can conjure up. Goddamn. You know? The thing is that get the stone built. Get yourself settled first. A peaceful mind, peaceful world. If not so peaceful a world, whatever that world has to throw at you, you can take it. All right? That's the story of Job. All right? Just remember that he got the heads up. He knew how to do it. He was connected. He was connected. You can get all kinds of hell thrown at you when you're connected. So, get connected. All right. Have a beautiful day.